Yeah. Do you know how to spot?
Apparently I don't know how to spot. It's fine.
Hello, fellow Outlander and sewing friends. Last year I was able to attain some Outlander replica tweed from the Outlander replica costuming Facebook group. This week I will be making an Outlander bounding skirt from that fabric, and I love how it turned out. Okay, so my first step is to cut my panels. From the screenshots, these like darker two lines are going perpendicular to the ground. So instead of cutting it salvage to salvage on my waist, this is going to be my waist up here. So I'm going to measure my panels. So I guess pretty much the width of this is going to be my skirt size. I'm not sure how many panels I'm going to do. I wanted to figure out how wide I made my green tweed Outlander skirt. That was going to determine how wide I made this mist and stone one. I do want to point out that I only bought 4 yards of this fabric, and on the show, Outlander costumes had at least 6 if not 8 yards of fabric in Claire's skirts alone. My finished skirt is not as full, but still gives a good Outlander bounding look. From the 4 yards of fabric, I had about 1/4 yard left over to make a couple of other projects you will see soon. Because I am only 5'3", I cut my panels about 36 inches in length and used the width of the fabric, 63 inches, to determine how wide each panel was going to be. So the pattern matching kind of worked out in my favor, where I decided that the top of the panels were going to be right underneath these two full dark lines, and then my skirt is going to be around 35 to 36 inches. I decided to round it off to this horizontal line so that everything will match up. So in between the 3 panels that I'm cutting out, we'll have, I don't know, about 4.5 inches, so hopefully I can fit a waistband in this area right here. Cut my pocket pattern out of this wool. I just really drew the size that I needed and kind of just wung it. Before I started pleating the whole skirt up, it probably would be smart for me to insert the pockets. I serged and sewed the 2 pieces of the pockets together, leaving 6 inches unsewed for me to sew into the skirt panels. Another thing that I learned from my past Outlander skirts is to make sure that your hand actually fits in that slit. So you could see my original slit wasn't going to allow my hand to fit in there comfortably, so I had to adjust it. You sew the pockets into the skirt by sewing right sides together right at that split line, facing together, and then you flip and press. Now that the pockets are sewn, it's time to sew the panels together, taking particular care to pattern match all of those wonderful tartan lines. On the panels that meet the pockets, you sew only up to where the bottom of the pocket slit meets. Since all 3 of the skirt panels are being sewed salvage to salvage, I didn't have to worry about finishing those seams. I just pressed them open and let them be. Now it's time to get serious about pleats. Because I have now made a couple of Outlander inspired pleated skirts, I have developed a love-hate relationship with pleats. I love the way they look on the finished skirts. I hate the process math and the sheer strength it takes to pleat up yards and yards of thick, heavy wool. I have found the easiest way to wrangle and manage this amount of fabric is to leave one of the skirt seams open so you are not pleating in a circle. It is much easier to wrangle a flat piece of garment than a 3D garment. I just kind of come to the conclusion that my waist is not as tiny as Katrina's, and I know I'm not going to get a screen accurate pleat placement, so I just went with winging it again. I will link Mariah Patty's Outlander skirt video if you want something more screen accurate. This is going to be my center. There is 4.5 inches between this and my first inverted box pleat, and then 9 inches between the 2. So essentially this is what is going to show. I know on the skirt in the show had these lines outwards, but I don't think I'm going to be able to math that properly. So my first pleat is going to come out to the edge of this, so you will not see those double lines right there. Or I could do it right here, but that's I don't know. I think that might be even, well, I'm going to try to pleat that up to see what that looks like. Okay, Okay, so I think I'm gonna do a box pleat. So here is the front, and instead of just having this extra pleat fabric go towards my hips, I am going to flatten it out and make it, take the middle and match it to this right there, and essentially flatten it out so you have some fabric going towards my belly button and then some fabric going towards my hip, and so that will hopefully distribute this much amount of fabric more. I do not claim to be a pro at pleat math. Every time I sit down and do a pleating project, I always go to Snappy Dragon on YouTube's pleat math tutorial every single time to figure out my pleat math. I will link her video down below. Oh my goodness, that's too bright. Day 2, I think I got all of the seams except the zipper part, the back, sewed up, and I have the pleat. So I am about to kind of try the pleats on, the skirt on, before I hand base the pleats in. I need to press those pleats. I don't have like a tailor clapper, but I have wood. I have some pine wood left over from a previous project, so I'm going to try to do that instead of like paying $25 for a piece of wood. So I'm going to do that. So after I press, I am going to sew up the back seam and the zipper. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and try to do that. My kids and my husband are gone for the day, so I have all day to sew, so hopefully I will get all of that done, and then maybe I'll put a waistband today, so we'll see. Okay, so I basted everything, but I'm afraid it is back to the drawing board with my pleat math because I was way off. So it looks like I can afford to take deeper pleats because that's how much excess I have. Like, math is not my strong suit, so I am going to pick out all these pleats and start again. 2.5 hours later. I end up doing, so I have, I think, 2 inches from here, and then I have a box pleat of 7 inches. And then when I get to the past the pockets, I did 1 inch pleats with what was 7? I think it was 7.5 fabric inside. I did that all the way around. I have about this much on either side that I will just put in a pleat. So I'll do measure from the edge 1 inch, and then I will, well, first I'm going to sew up the seam and then insert the zipper, and then my bird's loud. From there, after I put the zipper in, I will do the 1 inch pleat and then just pleat whatever is the rest of it and then figure out from there. So I need to press these pleats before I sew the zipper in. So that brings me to my next situation. So I watched a YouTube video of how to use a professional tailor clapper, and I looked on Amazon, and basically the clappers are an unfinished piece of wood that is sanded smooth. So I have this 1x3x8, that bird. I have this scrap piece of pine board that I had from a project. It is not sanded smooth, but I mean, I don't think it's going to catch. So I'm going to experiment. The YouTube videos that I saw, you basically put steam down and then press the board down. The science of it is, I guess the steam will relax the fibers in the fabric, and then pressing the board down will flatten the creases, and then the board is supposed to absorb the moisture from the steam. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we'll see. Okay, let's see. I don't know if that did anything. Well, I guess it did do something. I mean, they're more flat. And then I wonder if I can just go over it. Put my weight down? Is that how you do it? Don't know if that's how you do it. Oh. Look! That actually worked. Wow. I had my doubts. So, good news. Don't buy a $25 tailor clapper. Just get a scrap piece of really cheap pine board from your hardware store. Alright, so I'm gonna press all of these and then put my zipper in, and I will check in just a wee bit. Whew. I have figured out my pleats, they're pressed, my zipper's in. Now I am going to make my waistband. Hold up, I'll show you the fabric that I have. Shimmy out of this. I have my green skirt out. I'm just going to measure the thickness of the waistband, cut out probably 4 of my belt loops. I have to remember to make the belt loops bigger than the waistband width, and then figure out if I have enough yardage of this Outlander fabric to do the waistband and the hem. If not, then I will use my taupe wool that I use for the pockets. I cut my waistband with the inside of the Outlander fabric going to be in the inside. My waistband is 2¼ inches, and then I cut out 5 belt loops that I will fold in half and then sew up the length. And so yeah, so I think I'm just gonna like breeze through this and do my hem, and then I will check back. I only had about 1/4 of a yard of my licensed Outlander fabric left for the hem facing. I measured out 3-inch horizontal strips and sewed them all together on the short side, so I had one long 3-inch wide strip to finish my hem on the skirt. To finish the hem, I sewed that long 3-inch strip with right sides onto the bottom of the tartan skirt. Then I flipped and pressed the hem into the strip of fabric, and on the raw edge, I pressed 1/4 inch in to hand fill to finish the hem. To take advantage of my free Saturday night, sans kids or hubby, I changed into comfy pajamas and parked my happy but tired butt on the couch to hand fill approximately 180 inches of my hemline. In case you are curious, that equaled about the entire second season of Emily in Paris on Netflix. And the best part of any skirt, honestly, is that it has pockets. Not 1, but 2 pairs of pockets. Are my pleats perfect? No. Were they a headache? Sure was. But I do simply adore my new Outlander skirt. If you have made it this far, you are amazing. Thank you in advance for liking this video. If you want to see how I made this Outlander-inspired waistcoat from a thrifted Goodwill curtain, or this darling capelet of leftover Outlander tartan, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss those upcoming videos. And if you're inclined to support this channel and my future projects, please consider visiting my store, Biblio Chic Shop, where you can find cute accessories inspired by my favorite books. Alright, it's time to go in because I am cold. I don't even know how do I spot?
Yeah. Do you know how to spot?
Apparently I don't know how to spot. It's fine. It's fine.